Alright, what's going on, guys? Got another gold guide video for you today. It's the M91. Another light machine gun. This one, it's not as, I don't know if easy is the right word. It's not as much fun. I don't know. It's just, it's not as, it's more of a light machine gun than like the SA-87 or the Holger, where they're more, you can turn them more into a assault rifle type build. This one, as you can see, it's still bulky, it's still big, but I think I've got it built pretty nice, to make it as light as I think you can have it, but still have it maintain like good recoil control and stuff like that. But it will definitely be, you'll definitely see the difference between those like smaller, lighter light machine guns compared to this and like the PKM and the MG 34, whatever it is. But this one was still a lot of fun to use. Doesn't have too much recoil. It's got a lot of ammo. I've got each build. Like the Hipfire Build was a ton of fun to use. You have all this ammo. I've got thing cut off with no stock, so you can move around pretty quick with it. But I should not talk about that because I'll talk about that in the actual builds. But if this is your first gold guide video that you've ever seen from me, or first video in general, when it comes to these gold guides, I break down the guns into usually 4 builds. For the light machine guns, it'll only be 3 because instead of reload kills, you have double kills, which will tie into the kills build. So I'll break them into 3 different builds: the kills build, the Longshot build, and the Hipfire build. After those 3 builds, I will take you, well, I'll actually take you into the game and I'll show you how the Longshot build plays, because that's got a kind of a specific playstyle. And then after all that, I go into the camo requirement part of the video, where I will explain the best maps to play on, the best game modes on those maps, variants of the game mode, whether it's hardcore or core, which, spoiler alert, it'll be hardcore for everything. Hardcore is best for every single weapon except for probably the combat knife and the launcher. And I know if you're a core player, hearing me say play hardcore, you're probably going to try and ignore it and just be like, no, I'm going to play core. Trust me, I'm a core player. But for the past, like, 3 Call of Duties that I've gone for the max camo, hardcore has always been the way. And it still is in this one. It just is way more efficient to do all these challenges in hardcore. But enough of that. I'll get into that in a later part of the video. If you guys are just here to not hear me ramble on for 20-something minutes, because these videos usually take quite a bit of time because they're made for newer players, and I break down each gun and I explain every single attachment, why I'm using it compared to the other ones. So if you're here, you know what you're doing, but you kind of just want just a real quick build. All the timestamps will be down below. Just go ahead and click those and it'll take you right to the part that you want to see. But with all that crap out of the way, I will jump into the first build, which will be the kills. Alright, so right here is the kills build. It's not going to be the fastest and lightest thing in the world. Still heavy, still a light machine gun, but it's pretty good. As long as you just slow down your playstyle, you should be able to do just fine with this. Especially on the small maps, having a lot of ammo in a mag or a box, whatever you want to call it, is super beneficial on maps like Shipment. So getting right into it, the optic, use whatever optic you guys like. I prefer the GI Mini Reflex because if I jump to like the hollow sight, look how thick this thing is, thick and bulky. You can easily block someone behind this frame wherever you go to. Where is it down here? The GI Mini Reflex got this nice thin bezel, a lot harder to block somebody, just more visibility. But use whatever optic you guys are most comfortable with. For the barrel, I use the M91 infantry. It's to help with your ADS speed, which is important. Same with movement speed. They basically tie into the same thing. Light machine guns, both of those pros, they're not strong on at all. Movement speed, they have slow movement speed. ADS time is super long, so it takes forever to ADS. So this barrel just helps out with that. You're gonna lose some recoil control and bullet velocity. That doesn't matter whatsoever because you're playing on small maps. Recoil control kind of stinks that you're losing that, because that's usually one of the main things you want to have. But it's not that much, and we have other things in here to help with your recoil control. And speaking of that, going to the underbarrel, the Merc foregrip, one of my favorite attachments in the game. It's gonna help with your hipfire accuracy, which is nice because there is a hipfire camo, just like any other gun. So having a little bit better hipfire accuracy might make it easier to get a hipfire kill every now and then, although there is a specific hipfire build. But the main thing you want is recoil control, and that's what this is going to help you do, or help you have, I guess. Moving on to the rear grip, rubberized grip tape. This is going to help with your recoil control. Normally, I would use this stapled grip tape, which is close to my favorite attachment in the game. And if you've seen any of my other gold guides, this is probably kind of shocking. But I was playing around just now in the in a custom match, just experimenting with the two. Stapled grip tape's gonna help with your ADS speed and your sprint to fire speed. Yeah, that's nice, especially with the light machine gun. But it really, you're losing recoil control if you're not using a rubberized grip tape. I guess you're not really losing it since you didn't have it. But with the rubberized grip tape, you're having increased recoil control, which is nice because with the recoil pattern, it was it would go up to the right. So it was a little bit more crazy than what it is with the rubberized grip tape. The rubberized grip tape makes it so it is it's more vertical, which is a lot easier to control than having to pull down into the left. Again, like, I'm talking like it's a big deal. It's really not. If you're playing in hardcore, it's only going to take one shot to hit the guy in the head, and it's only going to take 1 or 2 shots to kill the guy in general. So it's not like recoil control is a big deal, but I thought it was something. I thought using rubberized grip tape was more beneficial than using the stapled grip tape. So that's what I would recommend you guys use as well. For the stock XRK Striker, this is going to help with your aim down sight speed. Like I said a couple attachments ago, the ADS speed is not good with light machine guns, especially these bulky ones. So just using this, it's going to help your ADS speed, allowing you to look down your sight a little bit faster than your enemy. That actually covers all the attachments for the kills build. Moving on to the next one, it is the Hipfire build. Alright, here it is, the Hipfire build. This thing was my baby. I loved using this thing on all these small maps. Although I think I only use it on Shoe House because Shipment and all that, and Rust wasn't even out. But this was a ton of fun to use. So getting into it, it's got the generics of a Hipfire build, except for actually it doesn't have an AXN mag or sleight of hand, which I usually always use. But I'll explain that in a second. So you want to use your 5mW laser, as you can see, help with your hipfire accuracy and sprint to fire speed, both really important, especially hipfire accuracy. We go to this description, 5mW green laser greatly improves hipfire accuracy, yada yada yada. Where if we went to the 1mW laser, which is the only other laser sight that helps with hipfire accuracy, you can see the tac laser is all aiming. This just says blah blah blah, low power 1mW red laser improves. Doesn't say greatly, so that's kind of your first hint that it's not as good as the 5mW. But you can see right here, I've got the 5mW equipped, and then if I was to swap to the 1mW under accuracy, you can see the little red bar that's showing that its accuracy will be reduced if I equip the 1mW, which you don't want. So the 5mW it's just another way to confirm that the 5mW is better. The barrel, I'm using the M91 infantry. This is going to help with your ADS speed, which isn't really important because you're hip firing, but your movement speed. And then what you're losing is bullet velocity, which again doesn't matter because you're playing on a small map, and recoil control, which again doesn't matter because you're not ADSing. So you're getting a big movement speed buff for no con, which is really nice. And with your Merc foregrip, recoil control, I don't think it matters when it comes to hip firing. It might, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It might, but I don't think it does. So it's nice to have if it does. But it's the only grip that helps with your hipfire accuracy. If I go through real quick, you can see no other grip helps with hipfire accuracy. So you want to use the Merc foregrip. I'll touch stock. Okay, so that'll be the last one. So rear grip, stapled grip tape. This is just going to help with your ADS speed, which again, doesn't really matter. But you want your sprint to fire speed because you're trying to turn this thing into you want to make it as aggressive as you can be with a light machine gun. Oh my gosh, I'm fighting off a sneeze right now. Stop, go away. So using stapled grip tape is going to help with your sprint to fire speed, allowing you to run around, get your gun up faster because you're lugging around a big light machine gun. Usually it takes forever to pull it back up from your hip. With this, it's just going to help you out getting that back up to your hip to be able to shoot. And then, what did I just cover? Sprint to fire speed, okay. And no stock for your stock. Same thing. Movement speed, you're going to you want to make it as aggressive as you can. Using no stock is going to allow you to have an increased movement speed. Aim down sight speed doesn't really matter because you're not aiming. And the cons are aiming stability and recoil control, which again don't matter because you're hip firing. So you're really just making this more mobile, but you're being more aggressive with it for basically no cons because you're hip firing. Now, why I'm not using an extended mag and a sleight of hand perk, which is what I usually use for hipfire builds, is because one, you have a box mag with I think at least 100 rounds in it already. You don't really need 120, 150. Sure, it'd be nice, but if you're if you're alive for that long on like shipment, to be able to spend 100 plus rounds without dying, then I mean, sure, go ahead. But for me, I would run around on shoe house with the default mag size, and I'd die before I could use it all. So I didn't really see the point in having a extended mag or a sleight of hand because those two attachments usually tie into each other. So I preferred to put on attachments that were gonna help with the movement speed and just stuff like that. But that's gonna cover the hipfire build. The last build, because there's only 3 builds for light machine guns. The last build will be the Longshot build. Alright, so here we are on the Longshot build. Again, before I get into the gun, I want to mention that you want to have a smoke grenade equipped. This is one of the most important, like, I'd call it an attachment. Most important thing to have on your kit when you're going for these long shots is the smoke grenade. And I'll explain that in just a second. So, getting into the actual attachments for the gun, you want to use the heavy barrel. This is going to help with your damage range and your bullet velocity, which again, I say it every single time. It doesn't really matter. You're playing on shoe house if you're doing it the way I would recommend. So that stuff doesn't really matter because you're in hardcore and it's a small map. It's going to be a hit scan no matter what. But recoil control is what you're after, and that's what it's going to help you with, where these 2 other barrels don't. You want to use the Ranger foregrip because it's going to help you with, again, your recoil control, which is important. And also your aiming stability. Believe it or not, recoil control, which is typical for a gun build, is what you want to have a pro for. But aiming stability isn't usually what you see. But aiming stability is what we're after as well. It's probably the second most important pro for the Longshot build. So it's got both of those pros, which is really, really nice to have. Your rear grip, you want to use granulated grip tape. This is going to help with, again, aiming stability, one of the most important things we're after. You could use rubberized grip tape, but I like to use granulated grip tape. And then again, it's got the aim walking steadiness. Sure, that's nice, but I never took advantage of that. And then for the stock, you're using Forge Tac Soccer. Once again, aiming stability, it's going to help you out to keep that crosshair as steady as possible. Last but not least, you have the thermal sight, which you can see is all the way at the bottom. Now, something I want to mention is you don't actually need to use thermal sights. You could use the night vision sight. Thermal sights will be better. It's a clearer picture. It's easier to see, in my opinion at least, to see through smoke, which is why you're using these types of sights. And that's why you have that smoke grenade. So I would recommend using the thermal. Use it if you have it. But for 90% of the guns in the game, I use the night vision sight. Because as you can see, there's 58 levels for this gun. Thermal sight is the literal last sight you will unlock. Well, thermal hybrid, you could, where's the other one? Is there another one for this gun? I have to be going over it. There's always 2. Yeah, there it is. So you can see, thermal hybrid, literal last sight, Merc thermal optic. It's I don't even know, what is that, halfway? It's past halfway. So it's on the second half. Both are pretty late unlocks, where we scroll up, you can see Solo Night Vision Enhanced is unlocked pretty early on. At least way earlier than these other 2 thermal sights. So, for 90% of the guns in the game, I actually use the Night Vision Enhanced scope. This is going to do the exact same thing as a thermal sight. It'll allow you to see through smoke and see the guy. If they're cold-blooded, they'll be black, which is kind of unfortunate because they blend in with the smoke a little bit. But if they don't have cold-blooded, they're nice orange, which makes it really easy to see. So if they have cold-blooded on, it's going to be a little bit harder to see them. But I mean, you can still see them, which is super nice. So, like I said, if you just have the Solo Zero Night Vision, it's not a problem. It's what I use for most of the guns. But I would recommend using the thermal over the night vision if you have it available to you. But that's actually it for all the attachments for the M91. But now I'm going to take you in-game, and I'll show you exactly how to use this build to get your long shots and also your mounted kills, because you'll be mounted as well. So I'll see you in just a second. Alright, so here we are in-game. Real quick, before I get too far into the explanation of this playstyle, anything that I say on this side will apply to the same exact side down there. Same exact thing. So everything I say here will apply down there. So, going back to that smoke grenade, which is super important to have. Before you jump on this wall, there's usually more than likely a guy way down there on that wall sitting up here. So, if you were to jump up right now, you'd probably get shot before you had time to aim down your sight and shoot at him. So, that's why we have the smoke grenade equipped. So you just toss it up and over the wall. Give it a second to let it puff up. Then jump up, mount your gun. As you can see on the left side of my screen, you can't see through. But with the night vision sight or the thermal sight, you can see through, no problem. Shoot at him. So you want to make sure you're mounted, because that's going to allow you to get your mounted kills as well. And then, if he is on this wall right here, or if he's where I am and you're down there, these are long shots. If he is on this corner right here, which is this corner right here, so depending on which side you are on and which side you're shooting at, these both of these spots are long shots as well. If you're where I am right now, there's about 2 or 3 spawns right here. If your team is in the correct spot on the map, it'll actually force their entire team to spawn right here. So I've personally done it, and I've seen other people pick up like 7 kills right here just shooting. It's like in a matter of like less than 5 seconds they've gotten. So I've seen people get like 7 kills just right here shooting at this wall. So all those spawns right there are long shots, and then the long shots cut off. There's a grass strip right about where that grass strip is right there. That's basically where it turns from a long shot to a not a long shot, a close shot. On this side, you can see there isn't really that wall right there, but people will spawn right here from time to time. If they spawn here and you shoot them here, it is a long shot. Again, if you shoot them when they're there, it's a long shot, and the long shots change from like a long shot to not a long shot. Basically about halfway from this box to the wall. So it's somewhere right here. So you just want to make sure you shoot them before they get too far along. I feel like, okay, yeah, aiming stability. So I mentioned in the gun build itself, we wanted to build towards recoil control and aiming stability. Recoil control, the light machine gun, it's still gonna have some recoil. It's only gonna take 1 or 2 shots, so I mean, you just quick couple of shots, you should be able to kill the guy. Because of your aiming stability, which if I take my hand off my mouse right now, which I am, both my hands are in the air, you can see I'm like that reticle is not moving whatsoever. I think I'm like getting really close to my monitor. I don't think it's moving. It might be just barely moving, but that's like not even noticeable. So having your aiming stability that steady is super important, because it's going to allow you to shoot the guy before 1, he shoots you, or 2, if you have teammates doing the same exact thing you are, it's going to allow you to be a little bit more accurate, and you'll be able to kill them. Hopefully, you'll be able to kill the enemy before your teammates get the kill. So it just helps out in that regard. But I think that's really it for this whole little playstyle. This for me was by far the most effective way. I actually ended up getting Damascus before any of these new maps came out, so I actually had to get it on Shoot House. But from what I can tell, this is definitely one of the easiest and quickest ways to get your long shots done, and it also, at the same time, it also helps you get your mounted kills out of the way as well. But that's going to be it for the long shot build. I will now jump into the camo requirement part of the video, which is where I'll take you through best maps, best game modes, variations of the game mode, and any other tips and tricks that I picked up along the way to getting gold and Damascus. So I'll jump into that right now. Alright, so now we're on the camo requirement part of the video. So I'm just going to bring up all the different categories for the camos in the game, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get all the camos within that category, what map is the best to get those challenges done on, whether to play hardcore or core on that map, and then what weapon build specifically from the video to use to get this done as quickly and easily as possible. So starting with the first one, you have spray paint. You need to get 525 kills. You want to play shipment, hardcore shipment specifically, and then you want to use the kills build. For Woodland, you have to get 75 headshots, again, hardcore shipment, and then use the kills build. For Digital, you need 65 crouching kills, hardcore shipment, and then kills build as well. And then for the Dragon category, you need to get 45 hipfire kills. So you want to play shipment hardcore again, just like for all of these categories. Well, except for Splinter, but we're not there yet. You want to use the Hipfire build because you need to get hipfire kills. But yeah, that's it. For Splinter is where it's got to change up a little bit. You need to get 45 long shots, and you want to do this on Shoe House. Of course, you can do it on whatever map you feel is best or whatever you have available to you, because you won't always have Shoe House 24/7 available to you. So if you have Shoe House, use that or play on that. You want to do it on hardcore, and then you want to use that long shot build. And then for the Topo camo category, you need to get 45 mounted kills. What I would do personally was I'd wait for Topo to unlock before I worked on Splinter. That way I could get the 2 done. Because if you follow my method to getting long shot kills from this specific video, you have to have your gun. Well, you don't have to, but I mount my gun. So I'm getting a mounted kill and a long shot kill at the same time, and you can see that at both categories you need to get 45 kills total for each one. So you'll knock out 2 challenges by just trying to complete 1, which is super nice. So although for the Topo I say shipment, you could wait, and then you could just play on Shoe House and get both Topo and Splinter at the same time. And then of course you want to play hardcore, and then depending on whatever method you're doing, whether you're trying to play on shipment, use kills build, or if you're doing it with Splinter to get along with the long shots, then use the long shot build. For Tiger, you need to get 180 max attachment kills. Again, hardcore shipment, and you want to use the kills build. Although the build doesn't necessarily matter, kills build will be the easiest on shipment. But all 3 builds in this video all have 5 attachments, so no matter what build you're using, if you get a kill with it, you're going to be getting a kill towards Tiger. Then you have Stripes, which you need to get 30 double kills, which is so much easier. Well, I guess now it's not like crazy, but like when this game first came out, the reload kills were the worst thing in the world. You had such a small window to get a reload. They gave you like no time at all to reload your gun. But reload kills now aren't that bad. But for light machine guns, you don't even need to get reload kills. They swapped that out for double kills, which is amazing. So all you need to do is play shipment hardcore, and you'll get double kills, no problem, using that kills build. Then for Reptile, you need 75 kills with no attachments. Again, hardcore shipment. And then for the weapon build, there's no weapon build because you need to use a bare bones gun. So yeah. And then for Skulls, just like anything else, you need 3 kill streaks, 25 of them to be exact. Play on shipment, hardcore, and use the kills build. Now, if you guys are getting slapped around or you're just getting unlucky on shipment, you could definitely play other maps. Or what I would do was, if I had trouble on shipment, I would go into ground war, and then it's extremely easy to get 3 kill streaks in ground war just because the maps are so big. You can be in so many different spots, and there's so many people that you'll run into them. You'll run into people basically anywhere on the map. So if you're getting smacked around on shipment, go into ground war, and you should be able to get it done, no problem in there as well. But that's actually going to be it for this part of the video and for the video in general. If you guys did enjoy it, please like the video. And if you didn't like the video, there's a button down there for that as well. If you guys have any feedback, comments, concerns, anything like that, just drop a comment down below. I usually see and reply to every comment, just because if you guys do anything really with the channel, I get like a notification on my phone. So I try to get back to everybody, and I usually I think I do a pretty good job with that. But I always feel weird asking for people to subscribe, so I always put this little clip of FaZe Jeff in here at the end, and he kind of just explains like how his mentality about like what he says about subscribing kind of fits in with mine, so that's why I put this in here. But I'm gonna cut to that now, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
He's such a lame. He used to mock people for asking for subscribers, and now that's all he does. It's like, dude, the analytics between a video where you tell somebody just adding, hey, can you subscribe, versus not. It's actually insane. It's literally a friendly reminder that you can subscribe. I ain't begging for shit. I got enough. But if you want to subscribe, I appreciate it.